Hey, so we've got an update to Gradient2ColorRamp. A lot has happened. I've got some new really cool stuff going on with copy the color ramp to the brush, copy the RGB curve to brush fall off, and copy the RGB curve to cavity mask. And so I'm still keeping this as uninstalled so I can keep making the changes. So we're just going to run that. We'll go into our main layout. I've worked up Horcrux already. I've worked up a shader. This is a pretty simple setup, even though it looks like a spaghetti noodle over here. This one is our base color, so right now that is a white tone. This one is transparent at the moment. We're going to paint into it. This is a noise texture that we're going to multiply with our color that comes out here when we start painting. Then we've got some stuff going on to try to make a bump out of the alpha and the bump. And then we've got inversion of that alpha and a color ramp to try to get us a little less roughness than a full rough. We want to make it to where we can have a metallic feel with this. Just my preference. Painting in Eevee, everything is pretty much going through one shader. You can mix a couple of shaders in Eevee, but you can't go very far with it because it's going to try to reduce it down to one. So the simplest method is just to use one single shader and to paint everything into it. So we can layer all over the place with these color mix nodes, and you can set them up to color or overlay or whatever, multiply, whatever works for you, and it works great. We're only using 1K images right now, so there might be some pixelation. I just don't want to mess with the video driver on, trying to keep up with everything. I'm currently using an HDRI that's mapped to the background, so once we get in there, there'll be some lighting that'll actually be nice and not ugly with the render side. So let's go back to the object, come back down, we'll drop this out of the way. Okay, so let's introduce this again. We've already been here before, but here you can choose which Horcrux you're using. So this Horcrux 001 is something I appended into my file from another file I was testing to see how this would work. So we can choose that, or we can choose that one. And what happens when you choose that is it puts the color into both displays. Here on the curve display, I need to choose the curve library or a category. So here's my curves that I have on that Horcrux. Here are the color ramps I have. And sometimes you don't want to see something like that, or maybe you want to see just the curves, so we can do that and just see the curves. That's just up to you. If you're going to eliminate one, if you really want to get rid of it, then you would then highlight it by unlocking it, and then use the trash can next to the gradient for the gradient, or the trash can next to the fall off for the fall off. I'm still kind of wondering if maybe I can set it up to, I don't know, it works right now, and I'm still second guessing myself on how everything's set up. I've used the icons to limit how many words are here. So this is gradient, this is curve, so that you can see what this is. The category is a material. So the way this works is a Horcrux is actually an object that's added into the scene. So let me go ahead and turn on the gradients and curves collection. This collection is generated in order to hide from the view, because I don't want to deal with it, but because you can imagine painting with that into play. So here's the two Horcruxes that are in there. When I brought the second one in, I had to drag it into the collection to hide it. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to drag this up so we can see all the way down to our fall off. So I want to see the gradient and the fall off, because this is what we're working with at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my original one, and I'm going to go ahead and go with my curves there. So I want to show you how this works. We're going to go with our fill tool, and I want to add the rust layer. So I'm going to go with the first layer, my base color. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to send it to the brush, and here it is in the brush. So I'm going to go full strength on that, drag down like this. Actually, we go and put front mode. So you get this nice blending of colors here that will show through when we erase with the alpha. Okay, then I'm going to take that, turn that off. I'm going to select this one and send that one. We're going to turn our power down. I'm going to first prepare for a cavity mask. So we're going to select this curve, and send it here. So we got the brush, I can send it to the brush, but I want to send it to the cavity mask. So over there it says copy RGB curve to cavity mask. We push that. Cavity mask is now turned on, and it's using that curve. Uncheck that. I don't want to accidentally delete that. So we've got our fill tool, and we've got a mix lightweight. The reason I'm doing that way is because I want to be able to layer in the opacity, but I want to get some of that color kind of banding in different directions. So we got some we're gonna pretend like it's a layer for that. See if I go to render, yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure what's going on with my paint. So, scene world. Okay, so maybe I need to make some adjustments here. Not getting much for my roughness yet. We'll see. Okay, so I'm not going to even bother worrying about that. The main thing is the add-on here is enabling us to get these. So I've got to back up and explain why it is we're doing this with this add-on. Okay, so here I'll reset my curve and reset my color. Okay, the curve's already done, but with this brush, if I have another brush, it's sharing the same gradient. So you see, I'll go from one to the other, it's sharing the same gradient. If I go to the draw mode, that one, if I turn around to this number and I go to the other one that's in there, they're both sharing the same curve. So it's by the tool. And when we get to 4.3, we're not going to have all these tools. We're going to have a draw tool, period. Annotate tool and a draw tool. And so all of these tools are then brush assets, and they're going to be under one. So that's even more frustrating, is that we're going to be stuck with just the one gradient, and we're only, if I make a custom curve down here, just showing you, if I make this custom curve and then I switch over to something else and I come back over here, that's lost. It says custom, but it's not retaining my curve. Then I have to sit there and do this number, try to figure out what was I doing. That's not fair. There's just nothing there for me to save it. Also the same thing for up here, cavity mask. If I reset that, it's not going to come back. I'm not going to be able to just go backwards. There's no menu option or anything. So what I want to do is, I'm going to actually turn the cavity off that, so we'll fix to start playing around. The ability to move, to push colors and stuff onto things is pretty cool. So like I can then do this number. I've got this here, and I've got that set to color, and I'm gonna color this area. See, so by using the gradient, you're able to actually add color with pressure. So it changes as you press. You can kind of move it around a little bit. You can change it up. But anyway, that works pretty well. You can also use that for like a grunge. So I can add some more tones around where the openings are. I can send this one over, and then we can actually add some really cool effects with some of the other brushes that I've got. So let me see what I can do with the drag, and I'm going to just change this to Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do a whole different tool. We're gonna do a whole different tool. I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to then go to, we'll leave that as erase alpha there. We'll come back to it. But we're gonna go to a different tool. We're gonna go to a smear tool, and we're gonna load up one of the textures that I've already got in the background. So we'll go ahead and use one of these, like crackling and break, and we're gonna just use that like that. And so here we've got these pixels already there. And so we're gonna turn around and grab these tones and bring them down like they did. Look at that, it's pretty cool. Okay, well, I've got to get my head back together because this isn't supposed to be a paint session. It's supposed to be just showing you how this works. But this is just so fun to play with. And we're working in there with the alpha, as far as I know. Yeah, effect alpha. So we're pulling the alpha. So we're actually breaking that up quite a bit. And then now I can go to the other tools. I mean, the other stuff. The random scratches. You know, doing this stuff. And then we can get the ones with the cell breaking. Where's it breaking the cell? Oh, let's break that. That's the other ones. You know what? That's the reason why we're having problems. I'm not doing the alpha on there. It's funny. Okay, we got some of those in there are wrong. They're just, oh well. We need to make sure we're on the second layer. That's why I'm not having a very good effect with what I'm doing. Okay, so now we can start to have some of this fun going on. You see, it's breaking. And I think the problem is that this is inverted, so all right, well, we'll have some fun anyway. So we can go back to the random scratches. This one's not wanting to work now. I don't know what I did. Oh, it's sort of working. Okay, we'll just come up with something else. Let's make sure it's active. I've been having problems with sometimes. Yeah, this color ramp is active. It's blocking me. Sometimes you have to go back and make sure that you've actually got the image selected there, which begs the question of why this isn't pushing another update, but it's the way it is. Weird. It's working in reverse now. I don't understand. But, okay. We've got some stuff going on. At least. Okay, that's color. Trying to add color into that one. Oh, too big. Oh, and it's mixed. Okay. Okay. Some chips. Okay, anyway, it's fun. I can sit there and play all day, but the main thing is that this was something where I can save this. If I save the file, I've kept this. I'm actually now going to have 2 Horcruxes in here that are saving what I want to play with. I can use them to mess around with my tools. I can send them directly, and you can use them for a lot of really cool things. So I would suggest maybe trying it out. Give me some input. Let me know what you think. If nothing's making sense, hopefully the UI is making more sense now for people to use it. It stays in the paint tab, so you can just not have to worry about it. So you can get out and just go ahead and just mess around with tools all day long and do something else. But I did see that there's a lot of potential for me to learn more and make this better, but I'm not sure about what the need would be. I'm kind of wondering if there's a way to maybe toggle the visibility altogether, like instead of just only choosing which ones show, having ability to actually put like an eye on there so that they don't show unless you hit the eye, so that this would only display the color of the color ramps, the gradients, when you want them to. And you know, maybe you just want all the color ramps that are available on all the Horcrux objects. Maybe I need to make it to where you can put an eye next to them and then choose multiples, or maybe have a drop down list where you can have or a menu that shows them instead of a drop down, and you can choose to show all of them that are available. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe we can rearrange it, recode it, figure it out the way it's going to work better for you. But for me, this is just scratching an itch. I've been trying to figure out a way to retain the things that I build. So if it's a tool and I want it to stay, I don't want to have to recreate it every single time. And there's a lot of work with the asset manager in the new version of Blender coming. I really hope that they're going to have the ability to address this as well, but I still don't think that this is on target yet. A lot of the tools that are being worked on right now is all in other areas, like Sculpt. They're really redefining the way Sculpt works with the brushes and trying to assess how the geometry is handled. And even though it doesn't seem like any attention's coming towards paint yet, it's still related. Sculpt mode is part of the paint system because it's a unified paint system. So because of that, everything they do with handling data in the Sculpt eventually is going to help them also apply that to what we're doing here in Paint. And Blender Paint is going to be just so much better. It's going to be so much more productive. And this is all just no big deal. We're working a little bit at a time in between. So if you like the video, if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. Maybe consider sharing the video, because if somebody else can benefit from it. I'm going to put the link again to the GitHub. When we get to a certain point where this is really concrete and finished out, then I'll probably put it on my Gumroad and we'll have it free there. But the Gumroad will give it a little bit easier ability for people to find it. All right, y'all have a great day. Keep painting. ART equals FUN.